So when it comes to careers, how do you know what you're good at?
Well, this is the first part of that equation, the skills part that we want to dive into. We want to be thinking about what comes naturally to me. What are the things that I really enjoy spending my time doing, both inside and outside of work? So you want to take your blinkers off at this point and think about you as a whole person. So what are those things that I'm really good at, that I'm drawn to be using over and over again, that people come to me for because I'm the one that gets that stuff done? Maybe you are brilliant with a spreadsheet and you're great at taking complex data and getting it all sort of super clear and precise for people to read. Maybe you're an amazing communicator and you're great at storytelling. Maybe you're a great written communicator where you're great at taking complex information and making it marketable, if you like, for the organization. So be thinking about, what am I really good at? What am I naturally drawn to? Also take some time to think about, well, what would my friends and family and colleagues say about me that I'm really good at? Because sometimes we're not very good at blowing our own trumpet. So what do other people say about you? And I think also what's really important is to sort of notice, if you think about your story so far in your career, is what are the skills that I've developed over time? And maybe there's some things in there that you haven't dusted off for a while that you would actually like to be in play more in your work. Yeah. Or maybe there are some things that you think, yeah, I know I'm good at that, but I'm sick of being pigeonholed in there. I'm kind of like done with it. I know, for example, I like a spreadsheet for holiday accommodation, but I don't want spreadsheets normally particularly. There's just times that I might. So think about that. Are there some things that you're kind of done with? And are there some things that you want to bring back in or develop even further? Yeah. So definitely some stuff to think of there. Anything else you'd add to that, Erica?
I think for some people, it's really obvious where your skill set lies, right? Like you have a natural aptitude for languages, you have natural aptitude for instruments and music. But for most of us, it's more of a kind of varied set of skills and activities, and it's easy to dismiss the things that we have a natural talent for. So really thinking about what comes to me easily is actually a really good way to access in where those skills are, because you're going to assume that everybody else can hold a great sales conversation or organize a space really beautifully or make people feel at home or, whip up something from the fridge without, any forethought. But that's not true. So, and the other thing I would say is just try and get really, really specific. So say, for example, you know that you're good at written communication. There's probably a layer under that of like where you're even better than other instances. So you might be better at, fiction writing than non-fiction, or you might be good at writing a really short, catchy post for online, but really find writing a long essay quite difficult and boring. So, or maybe for a particular audience, maybe you've got a great sense of humor and you're great at adding, elements of like lightness to a piece, right? So
it's almost personalizing that skill, isn't it? What is it that I bring to communication? What is it specifically you do?
Yeah. And what is that sweet spot? Because that's really, we find that the more specific that you can be about, do the generals, I'm a good communicator, I'm good at sharing ideas or whatever, but then really hone into, but where are you exceptional? Because even in something like data analysis, there'll be bits that you really, really like and bits that are kind of all right, and you do them so you can do the other thing. The more specific you can get, particularly in the 21st century world of work, the more valuable you become and the more you're able to sell a memorable set of skills that people are not going to be able to ignore.
And another thing, I think, for people who are perhaps early on in their career and they're like, what do you mean I don't have any skills? Is to think you absolutely have. Think about the things that you've done in and around your life. So whether that's through education at school, a Saturday job, a summer job.
Activity.
Yeah, there's loads of, maybe you do charity work or you've volunteered or you've helped at a local event. There's all sorts of places where you have developed skills that you're not recognizing, and we just need to kind of eke that out of you. And actually there's skills that are sat in that peripheral part of your life in terms of hobbies and interests that you think, I actually would like to bring them into my work somehow a little bit more. Maybe you're super creative outside of work, but you don't get to play in that creative space in work. So there's definitely lots of sort of food for thought in your whole life.
Yeah, definitely. So actions arising, make yourself a list, do a brainstorm, think about work that you've done in the past, things you really enjoy doing, inside and outside of work. What comes naturally? What comes easily? What do your friends say? What do other people that you trust and care about have to say about what you're naturally good at? And just get all of that down. Don't worry too much at the moment about whether or not that you're going to have a job that does all of those things. And you may immediately see that there's some things that I don't want in my work. But let's just try and get an honest and fair inventory about who you are and what you're good at, so you've got a good picture. And the more specific you can get, the more details you can get, the more useful this activity will be with you. So be generous, share with us down below what are your core skills, and then we'll see you on the next video.
Enjoy.